go for it, basically. So, good morning again. I'm happy you're all here, and I can't wait till Ajinkya shares the screen. So maybe, Heba, can you turn your screen off, please? So maybe Heba, we'll put out a poll after Ajinkya's done. Okay, thanks very much. Go ahead, Ajinkya, it's all yours. Good morning.
Awesome. Good morning, guys. So I'm essentially the co-founder of Callix, and how I know CBC and how we know Diana is we were one of the presenters at the Shark Tank event they organized earlier this month. Sort of the number one in the competition out of, I believe there were 7 other startups, and there were 5 or 6 sharks who essentially the judging. And we've also managed to strike a deal with some of the sharks to expand our service to Canada, grow our service there, work closely with Canadian Business Council, etc., etc. Now, Callix as a service is essentially a call answering solution for an SME. Now, you might be wondering, why not just get a call center to do it? Now, as an SME, that's where the sort of trouble spot is. As an SME, these companies, these call center companies, don't really want to hire you because you're a small client. You don't really bring in that much to the revenue pool. Because their other clients are people like Emirates NBD, Emirates Airlines, Etisalat, etc., etc. These guys have millions of calls in a month, and they will obviously bring in millions of dollars in revenue. So the call center companies just want to get 3 or 4 or 5 of these clients, and they have their nice pot of $2 or $3 million that they make every month, and they're quite satisfied with that. They don't really want to innovate. They don't really want to expand into the SME space, and that's where we innovated. So what we did was, as Callix, we decided to offer this service to SMEs, and we looked at their existing offerings. Now, SMEs, their number one option is go to a call center, which is too expensive. The second option is to hire a receptionist, where you essentially pay him or her 5,000 or 6,000 dirhams a month, and then you've got visas, medical, etc. All of that adds up, let's say, to 7,000-8,000 dirhams a month. Now, with that kind of cost, you're paying around 70 to 80,000 dirhams overall in a year, just for customer service. Now, at the end of the day, when you ask, at the end of a work day, when you ask this customer service agent, essentially a receptionist, hey, how's work going? How are our calls being taken care of? Are our customers happy? They have a very biased answer, which is obviously, and yes, that of course, I'm doing my job really well. I'm the best receptionist you could hire, whatever. And you have no way to follow up, or you have no transparency on if that's the case or not. And that was one of the big things we wanted to change. And the second big thing was obviously the pricing. Now, the way we've evolved the pricing is by simply adding technology to the whole adding technology to the whole industry. And now essentially what we're doing is we're offering a customer service package at just 800 dirhams. And with our sort of Callix package, you essentially get access to customer service agents who speak 9 languages. We have more than 7,000 agents who answer calls on your behalf, so you're never going to miss a call. You have advanced AI and data analytics, backing and transcribing each one of your calls. Essentially what this means is every call that you get is transcribed into searchable text. So as a company, if you've received any call in the past, you can have access to all of that data in the form of text. So let's say you're a trading company and you've sold and you've got 1,000 calls for people who want iPhones. Unfortunately, that month you didn't have stock for iPhones. So, but you get the stock a month later, and you find out that, hey, I can go back and call all of these customers once again. Now, with the traditional system, it's only possible if if the person responsible for answering the phone has taken note of these 1,000 numbers and then he manually calls them back. But with Callix, what you can do now is our database maintains all of the calls that came in. All you have to go and do is go to your dashboard and search the text iPhone, and it'll automatically classify all the calls that were called that you received regarding an iPhone. And then all you have to do is put that on our outbound dialer, and then Callix does those calls automatically for you. So you have the ability to retarget all your customers, all your consumers at the click of a button with searchable text, with AI, with analytics, etc. Again, all of this for just 800 dirhams a month, which adds up to 8 or 9,000 dirhams a year, which is the cost of 1 month service from a receptionist or from a traditional call center. Now, especially in times like what we're going through now, Callix is especially handy because it's obviously remote. You don't have agents sitting at your office. You don't have agents sitting anywhere on your office premises. You don't have to spend any capex on your agents, no equipment, no computers, no dialer software, none of that. Callix takes care of all of that, all of those things. And again, it's remote, like I said. So you have business continuity without requiring a physical setup. In addition to that, we've also got a dashboard and an app, which I want to share my screen, but it's not working for some reason. I'm trying to share it, but Diana, there's no way I can share it. It just says, it just doesn't work. Anyway, so we've got access to a whole backend dashboard, which gives you analytics, which allows you to listen to call recordings.
Oh, you need to start your video. That's how you can share your screen.
Oh,
okay.
Right.
So there. Okay. Now you can do it. All right. There you go. There you go. Excellent. Sorry, Zoom takes a full little bit of trickery sometimes. And to tell everybody, yes, we can see it. It's wonderful. And Callix is in Canada. So yay. Yep. I'm so proud, really proud. Okay, thank you.
So so this is what the dashboard looks like. Like Diana said, we're in Canada, UAE, and we're not in the USA, but we can serve the USA through our Canadian entity. And it's really simple for a business to sign up for Callix. Let's say we create a business right now. We call it Paper.
Phoenix. Paper. Okay.
Okay, let's do Phoenix. Phoenix okay. Industries. We just select an industry. Let's say we are advertising and marketing company, and we are in UAE. And then we create a free account, and all of a sudden you've got Phoenix Industries, who's got a Callix account, which is essentially a phone answering service for your business, just created. And then I've actually timed this, and it just takes 55 seconds to sign yourself up. I'm just going to put in my own details, just quicker that way. You put in your phone number. This would ideally be the business owner creating the account, just to give you some perspective. So I'm going to put in Dubai, and then you get to pick your DID number. This is essentially the number that your business gets calls on. So let's say 77. You can obviously pick a specific one, but we're pretty sure. So then we create a new account. This is what our new account looks like. This is the phone number we call. I'm just gonna copy the username, and we're gonna move to our dashboard. So this is what the dashboard looks like. And at the same time, I get an SMS on my phone that essentially gives me the password to my dashboard. So a business owner just puts in their credentials, which they get on the mobile number they put in, BOB. So I'm just copying this password from my phone. They send me an email and an OTP, similar to the way a bank works. You get an OTP for your transaction, and then you put that in and sign in. Now, this is what the dashboard looks like. Let's just wait for it to, yeah, there we go. Now, this is obviously blank, so we don't have any calls on here. We've got inbound calls that came in, number of questions. We've got anything urgent that needs to be solved. Essentially, this is the analytics page where you've got graphs and tables highlighting what kind of calls you're getting, how long the calls are, sort of what your peak hours are. So for example, this is really important in a few industries like the restaurant industry, where calls tend to peak around breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And these restaurants are able to manage their supply chains accordingly based on sort of the peak durations of the orders. Even in the facilities management industry, this is a really critical data point that we provide. Now we've got last 5 calls. Of course, this is an account with no calls on there. So obviously there's no data. We've got something called the average caller sentiment rating. This is at 50% right now because there's no calls. But essentially what this does is it's an AI-based engine on the back end which analyzes the tonality and the vocabulary of each call and gives you a certain rating. So what we found that customers don't want to provide feedback or don't want to provide a rating when they've received a good service. But when they've received a bad service, they want to go tell the world about it, which is a slight bias in our opinion, because as human beings, we feel entitled to good service and we feel highly wronged when there's bad service. So we want to get rid of that bias, and thus we implemented an AI system where we understand just from the way the customer is speaking about the experience they're having. So if you as an end customer of Callix have got a low caller sentiment rating, then obviously there's an issue with the service, there's an error on the website, or your fulfillment is not up to mark, etc., etc. So that gives you an unbiased rating. And now here we've got calls by language, calls by type. These are pie charts which get populated once the call comes in. Now we go to the questions and answers, and essentially this is how a business will populate its own feed dashboard. Now, what is your location? It's a pretty basic question that comes in. Let's say we are in Jumeirah Lake Towers. Let's say we're in cluster.
So from my understanding, Ajinkya, this is what the part that makes it so special, because it is personalized.
Exactly. I can put in whatever questions and answers I want to put in here. For example, at the Shark Tank event, we put in we put in a very specific detail about one of the judges, and it was essentially just to show that, hey, we've got a very customizable and very instant dashboard which gets updated seamlessly. So I could change answer here and the answer would get changed immediately. So think of this as a business owner or a business manager who's on the go with his phone and they've got the Callix app. All they have to do is change the answer on the app and it's changed to all your customers instantly. You don't have to call any agent, you don't have to call anyone. You just change it on your phone and it's changed everywhere else. You don't have to interact with anyone. All of it is done through technology. And this is one of the big changes we make to this ecosystem of sort of customer service. We change the landscape by involving deep levels of technology, which of course allows us to bring down our costs, but also allows us to provide innovative and market-leading service for SMEs. The experience we provide through Callix for our SME clients, our small businesses, is at times even better than what the big clients get. It's better than what sort of the call centers that serve the massive clients provide as well. So we want to make sure that, hey, you're getting a discounted service, you're getting a discounted price, but you're not getting a discounted service. You're still getting the best possible service out there, but hey, you're not paying so much for it. And that's our focus. We really want to push it for the SMEs.
We were when we were talking to the other business councils here, they thought that was fascinating because you might have an event happening and then you find out, oh my goodness, I've only got 10 places left, and you can just type that in, oh my goodness, I've only got 10 places left, so that you know that you're so up to date. It's a matter of opening an app, which is amazing.
Yeah, exactly. In addition to that, you've got a bunch of languages. So you can do, let's say your business mainly gets calls in Urdu or calls in Hindi or calls in French. You can set up any language you like. Let's say you've got a caller who's called in and now wants to speak in, started the call in English, but now wants to transfer to Urdu or transfer to Arabic. We can do all of that. So we've got English, Hindi, Urdu, French, Tagalog, and all of the relevant languages in the region. And adding a language is really easy for us. So if you're a business that needs, a specific dialect of Arabic, we can make those additions. We can make those accommodations as well. We've structured the system in such a way that it's very easily modifiable to small businesses, because we understand that young businesses have uh, very tailored requirements at times. And even though they have tailored requirements, they may not be able to pay sort of the exact price or exact premium for those tailored requirements. So we make sure that we charge as little of a premium as possible, and we ensure that our pricing is always competitive. Because our goal at the end of the day is to ensure that these small businesses are doing their best, growing to a large business, and sort of becoming their best version. That's what our focus is with Callix. We both as Callix and as the founding entity AC Ventures, we really want to focus on business growth, business development, and the development of the overall ecosystem. So we're really open to moving things forward. We're really open to ensuring young business growth. Now, let's just go back to the dashboard. Once we've set up these questions, I'm going to quickly call this number. I don't know how this is going to work through the Zoom call, but let's just try it. I'm going to put my phone on speaker. You will, just a second.
We've got Mohammed has his hand up. Mohammed, can you write the question for a second? Or are you okay? You go ahead. You go ahead, Ajinkya. Oh, here we have it. Actually, here's the question.
Oh, there we go.
Okay. Who is this ideally for? What type of business could benefit from Callix? For example, I'm a freelancer. Yep. I manage my clients on my own. How will this benefit freelancers, solopreneurs? Would a SME need a lot of customer calls to benefit from this tool to maximize it?
Yeah, so Jade, I hope I'm pronouncing
that
right.
Jade,
But
Jade,
Jade, this is ideally for all sectors. We don't target a specific sector. So you as a freelancer can definitely benefit from Callix. For freelancers and senior executives, what we offer is Callix Signature. And essentially how the phone, how the Callix Signature works is you put in details either as your business or either as Jade. And let's say you do it as a business, it follows the same procedure I showed earlier. But if you do it as Jade individually, when the person answers the phone, they answer saying, hey, this is Jade Daryani's office. How can I help you? If I can connect you directly to her, what are the services provided by Jade Daryani's freelance project, etc., etc. So you've got all of these benefits for freelancers and solopreneurs. And an SME does not need a lot of customer calls to benefit from this tool. We've got packages which essentially allow you to start from a minimum number of calls, which is 300 calls a month, which is practically quite low. But we can go lower than that as well. And then on the top end, of course, the sky's the limit. We offer system integration, we offer CRM integration, et cetera, for all of the SMEs that are starting to grow big. Now, as a freelancer, if Callix is a service you want to use to manage your clients, give them a professional experience, make them feel that, hey, this is, a strong organization, give them the comfort of, having a 24/7 helpline that they can always call and speak to, they can definitely use it. Now, Mohammed Irfan, moving to your question, of course, metal industries is a big part of the economy. Now, as like you said, you're a metal recycler, you get a lot of inquiries through your phone, and Callix is perfect for that. Essentially, what we can do is, because you've got international suppliers, you've got two key advantages here. You've got multiple languages, so you can speak. Our agents can handle calls from wherever in the world because they can speak all of the languages. And second, we work 24/7. Our service is 24/7, so you can access our service all throughout the day. Maybe your physical team here is asleep. They're not. It's not during the working hours, and you get a call that's worth $2 million in revenue. Now, would you want to miss that call because it was out of your working hours? No, right? So that's why we maintain a 24/7 availability, because we know that business happens 24/7, especially when you're connected with international suppliers. So that's a huge advantage for trading, metal, commodity-based industries that we made sure we incorporated.
Right. And Ajinka, sorry, just before you go on with your presentation, there was one thing is we call it
Hmm.
technology as a remote receptionist. I think it's actually more than that, not to belittle what a receptionist, an actual physical
Yeah,
receptionist does.
yeah, of course, of course.
It's like having many receptionists
Yes,
at your,
precisely.
right? So it's not
Yeah,
just
it's
one.
like
Mhm.
we
Go
think of
ahead.
it as having a superhero receptionist. It's as good as it costs you less than one receptionist. It's less headache than one receptionist, but it's as good as having 7,000 receptionists just serving you. So it's essentially all of the perks of having a receptionist without any of the downsides.
Yeah, and you've told me how hard the training is of the people that are actually the actual receptionists. So it's lovely because it is a say no to bots, as I call it, BOT,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
so it's a lovely facet. Just so that you know, we do have a special at the because Ajinka has realized that especially in this moment where uh, companies are struggling and they may need a helping hand, there is going to be a very special offer which we will send you with through the Canadian Business Council. And Ajinka has an offer going on for at least the month of April, so that you can, he just wants to make a difference, just as we did trying to get the Shark Tank together. So I'm thanking you ahead of time, just in case it slips my mind, but
Of
it'll be
course.
sent out in the follow-up email. Okay, I'll let you go back to
Yeah.
your presentation, please. Thank you.
Yeah, so
Okay.
I see there's a couple more questions here, Mohammed Irfan. Business policy like confidentiality is not an issue, because when we sign you up, we ensure that your confidentiality is preserved. We ensure that all of the agents will never disclose that it's a call center that they're speaking through. They always speak for your business as if they're employees of your business. And confidentiality on customer data, of course, we maintain that all of your data is siloed. We follow the highest encryption standards. We keep all of the data independent from other customers and independent from other entities. All of the data is only for Callix. And even Callix only has third-party rights on it. We don't get to use this firsthand without you confirming with us. So we've taken care of all of the data security angles, and we've taken care of all of that. Do we have any other questions?
No, I think it's fair to go ahead. We can answer, maybe we can ask the questions after the presentation, because this is really, I think it's important to see how it works. What do you
Sure
think?
thing. So I'm just gonna place the call. Okay, it usually works in 3 rings, but I think we've got some server maintenance going on. That's weird. Okay, sorry. There's always some technical on my phone.
Yeah, it's Murphy's Law. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Okay, that's weird. Anyway, I think we've got some server maintenance going on.
Okay.
But
So we
essentially
can
what
get to the,
happens once the
yes.
yeah, essentially what happens once the call goes through, there'll be an agent who picks up, says, "Hey, thank you for calling Phoenix Industries. How can I help you?" We walk them through the questions. We ask them what question we want to ask. That's from the dashboard. They give you a specific answer. Once that answer is done, the call shows up on the dashboard, and you can play back the recording. You can play back the transcription of the call that has happened, and it essentially shows you all of the data that was collected on that call. And then you've got a new customer in the form of a phone call who you can service, address all of their concerns, etc., etc. If one of our agents don't have the answer, then the call gets forwarded to one of the business representatives or one of the business owners, and they can take care of the call directly.
Oh, great. So this is fantastic. I didn't know about that follow-up feature. All right.
Yeah.
So while we're waiting for probably there's probably something to be updated. Is there something else you want to talk about? What other features that people can look at here? And maybe while we're waiting for updated, we can actually go ahead
No,
with
actually, we
any
can
other
just go.
questions. Yeah.
We can go ahead. It's okay. We can just send a follow-up email, and then everyone can try the demo for themselves in the through the follow-up email. We don't have to wait
Okay,
for calls.
fantastic. Okay,
Yeah.
fantastic. So they can just go ahead and try the demo. All right. Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much, Callix. Callix, I called you Callix. Jinka, for yeah. I guess I've got Freudian slip there. So thank you so much for showing us this feature, and thank you so much also for having it out there. I found that a lot of even the smaller businesses in Canada and Toronto were really fascinated by this. Because of the
Yeah.
fact, because of the fact of the cost, okay, which is
Yep.
really fundamental in a smaller business. Well, even in a bigger business, it can just give you that extra helping hand that you may not be able to afford, or right now too, where we're trying to be very, very, very careful of what we're spending because of the fact that monies are not coming in as quickly because of the
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah.
So, thank you very much for, if by chance the demonstration is able to happen before the end of the webinar, can you just pop back in, just
Sure.
keep yourself
Sure.
background?
Let me speak to my tech team.
Yeah, because it is, I have seen the live demonstration, and it is kind of eerie because we could, even while he's doing it, someone put up their hand and say, write the color green in, and that person will know that it's changed from blue to green. That's how quick
Yep.
it is. It's absolutely
Yep.
fascinating. Well, thank you very much. And we'll make sure we're with the follow-up email too, that we will put all, and thank you for very much for your kind help and offer to all the people right this moment. They really do appreciate it.
Yeah.
I think, May, if you want to, we can go ahead. Were there any other questions from anyone at the moment? Let's see. Okay. Yes, we will be sending the presentation later on by email. Sorry about that. Yeah. So that's, I hope you can all hear that. So don't worry, it'll be fantastic, because again, all the things that you miss, it'll make more sense when you actually do the live presentation. You're welcome. All right. So May, come on. So so you can see how isn't that fascinating?
No, that's really good. I think there are a lot of businesses nowadays. There are some businesses that are laying low, but there are also some businesses who are having more, such as restaurants here. Since more of us are staying home, deliveries have really, exploded. And this is a very important software that I think they can really, really find use these days.
Oh, great point. Yeah, that is an excellent point. Yeah, delivery companies. Even just to get feedback, it's a great support system. It's a great support system, or for like with our companies, let's say our companies are offshore companies, to have someone. We always have the difficulty that we're trying to call Vancouver, and with the hours, it's like, oh well, you got to do the phone call at 11 o'clock at night and hope to goodness catch that person. That's just about it. So those are absolutely fascinating. If you'd like to go ahead, I don't think we're ready with our poll yet too. I guess it must be one of those techy kind of moments. Okay, so why don't you, I've had the joy of already seeing one of your presentations, and not only are they just user friendly, they're fascinating, and it does make you want to tweak some of the things you're doing. So how are you going to get us to tweak today? What are we doing?
For sure. I am actually very excited for this. I feel like no matter which industry you're in, no matter what size is your business, small, medium, large businesses can really find use to this. We have 19 people in the room right now. I'll be tackling very specific things that you can immediately apply And yeah, I'm not gonna go around. I'll just go right through the topic. I'm going to share my screen, and I want to tell you guys that if you have any questions along the way, just drop them on the, we have a Q&A box or the chat box, and I'll try my best to answer them right away. Okay, I'm just going to share my screen. Thank you so much, Diana.
Oh, you're welcome.
I think this is it. So just, can you guys see my screen right now? Yeah?
Yeah, we can see it.
Awesome. All right. So just a quick introduction. My name is Mae. I'm a social media strategist and social media coach. I work with small, medium business owners here in the UAE and basically giving direction and a roadmap to their social media strategies. So their social media efforts. Okay. And today we're gonna touch one part of it, but I wanted to make sure that this is applicable to all types of businesses. Okay, so it will be growing your brand's social media the right way. So I think most of you guys here, most of the businesses, we already know how important social media is for us. Even before this outbreak, it's not an option. It has always been a must. And this is just an opportunity that, you know, the digital world has given us. So there's a lot of opportunities. There's exponential growth. There are businesses who are solely based on social media. We have seen the rise of cloud kitchens here in the UAE and different parts of the world, and that is just where the whole business scenario is going. It's not an option. It's just a must. So okay, so we already know that how powerful it is, but there are two things that I want to emphasize what's stopping business owners or brands from maximizing it. And the very first one is not understanding. If this is you, let me know in the comments below. Not understanding how it plays in the big picture, or not seeing how it will eventually bring sales. So there are two types of business owners or brand owners. One is that you're not sure if this is, you're hesitant if this is going to bring you results, if it's worth investing, if it's actually going to increase your sales, going to bring you leads. So you are hesitant on putting in the effort, the time, and the money for that. The second type is you believe that this can bring you the results that you need, but you're just not getting those results even if you're putting all the time and energy. And that's because of various reasons, such as you are not showing up enough, there's no consistency, you are just posting without a strategy or a structure in the back end. So today we're just gonna be going through the second one of how you can actually solve that problem. A lot of business owners, obviously we don't want to spend all our time on social media. We have a lot of other business aspects to pay attention to. And it doesn't have to be like that. It can get easier when we have strategy or a systematic process in place. So the problem is that we are too busy to put in enough work for it to start working. A lot of people on social media they give up so easily. Or they just say, I don't have the time and I don't see the results. Maybe some businesses have had, you know, success without social media before. So why would you adapt and put in so much, right? So let me know what you think of that. If that's you, if you have any comment, put it in the chat box below. And the solution is just that you do not have to spend all day on social media. As long as you have a process, you can nail it. Focusing on the right things, that's number one. And having a systematic process in place. These two things are what we're gonna deep dive into in today's session. If also, guys, if I am speaking too fast, tell me to slow down. I have that tendency. Okay, now let's go to the first point, which is focusing on the right things and focusing on the right things. First one. So I see a lot of companies signing up to other companies because they believe there are a lot of technical, techie, fancy, high-tech things that they have to do to nail their social media. I guarantee you, you do not have to spend thousands and thousands first to get results. You just have to put your attention on the right things. And these are the four things especially for business who are just starting, you don't have a big audience yet, you don't have an engaged audience yet, specifically small, medium businesses, or even large businesses who have been functioning without a digital presence before and now are starting to penetrate the digital space. So first one is having a clear bio description on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. I see a lot of accounts with very long descriptions, with fancy descriptions, different, deep words and all that. I want to tell you that when a person sees your profile, that person has a few seconds of attention span to know if you are someone that they want to connect with or not. And most of the time, that is based on the fact that they're going to get something from you. It's either education, inspiration, motivation. That's just how people react to posts, especially because it's so saturated. So your Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram bio, the three big platforms, you should be having a very, very clear description. We're going to get into that in the next slide. Second one is the right content and messages. Again, people have very short attention span on social media. They will look at your first 3 to 5 posts. If these posts are serving them, then they will stay and follow you because they will want more, or they will dig deeper into your accounts because they are now believing that you have relevant content that will serve them. All right. Third one is consistency. This is just the key to everything. If you don't become consistent in posting, you will be forgotten. There are a lot of content on social media these days. If you're not consistent, people will forget about you. You'll not be on top of their minds. Even if they don't buy from you yet, you just have to keep on going. And eventually when the need comes up for your product or services that your business provides, then people will know that it's you who they need or who they'll get in touch with. Fourth one is engagement. Okay, I'm going to tell you a little bit of a technical fact about Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Algorithm-wise, when you do not have a network at first, they're not going to help you. They will, for example, on Facebook, you post something, nobody will see you. Even if you have like 100 people in or 1,000 people in, nobody will see you if the algorithm of Facebook thinks that your content is not interesting. And how do they know if it is interesting or not? When there is engagement. So engagement means comments, likes, shares, conversations, because that's where social media is moving forward. They want to make sure that we are not here. It's not so commercialized, but it is more about conversations and relevant messages. Right. It's different for LinkedIn and Instagram, but I'm not going to touch on that today because that's a whole new story. I'm just going to deep dive into these 4 points. Now, what does a clear bio description looks like? It can be as simple as 1 sentence. It states what you do, who you help, and the results that you bring. It's not just for service-based people. It can also be for companies. For example, this is my I help. I call it an I help statement. If you're a sales, whichever industry you're in, actually. I help my who is business owners to do social media to achieve, grow, and scale their businesses. So these are some other examples that I grabbed from small accounts that I have seen success. If you see, there is a pattern and it's just an I help statement. So look at your social media now, your business social media, and see if someone lands on your page, will they immediately know what you're offering or you're serving them, what your business does for them? So that is a point to look at. All right. Do we have any questions so far? I do not see the comment box though, but okay, I'm gonna get to that after this. Second one is the right content and messages. I'm gonna start that off by saying it's not about you, it is about them. And by them, I mean the people on the other side, your target audiences, your potential clients, your potential customers. It's about them that you're publishing content on social media because you want to attract these people and know that you exist, and down the line, eventually buy from you. I think I have some questions here. Okay, you'll ask at the end of the questions. Back background with notes. Thank you, Mohammed. Okay, it's not about them. It's not about you. It's about them. So always think that what you publish is not for you. It's for them. For example, just very quickly, there are personal brands out there, or there are companies that are, you know, they have a face of the owner. For example, it's a personal brand. You post a selfie. A selfie can be two ways. One is just a selfie that doesn't serve your audiences. You can also post, but on the other side, you can also post a selfie with a caption of how you're enjoying this vacation, etc., etc. Your copy, your caption is a very important opportunity for you to connect with people. Okay. Okay, content and messages. So content and messages, how to create content and messages that your audience resonate with is only possible when you know your target audience as well. Well, some of the businesses might say that, oh, but I want to sell to everybody and everybody can be my audience. If they want to buy, why not, right? But that's just not true, because if you are talking to everybody, it's like you're talking to nobody, right? Because in the end, your content will become very generic, very general. So what we want to do is we want to go beyond the demographics of the people that we're targeting, beyond their age, location, and gender. We want to dig deeper into their fears and pains and goals. And I'm giving you this formula, and I promise this will be a game changer in how you publish content in your social media, because now you're not just throwing out posts for the sake of doing so, which is a common mistake that a lot of people are doing. When you dig deeper into the fears and the pains and the goals of your target audiences, you can now make content that resonate with them. And why these three things is because these are three things that usually motivate a human to buy or to appreciate something. And that includes buying from you, your service or your offer, right? If you guys want to get a copy of, I have a workbook, actually a worksheet that you can work through that asks you more about your audiences. I can send that to you, or I can share it with Diana. And then if we have a follow-up mail, we can share that with them if they want.
Yeah, that we will have one, and that's absolutely fabulous, because I think this is what we're hoping to do with you too, is actually do a workshop. Maybe we'll figure it out, something like that, because I think once you've gone a little bit through the process with Mae, it does make a big difference, and it does. I look at these fears, pains, and goals. It's funny because the fear of posting, once you and I talked that time,
Yeah.
It kind of passed, and it was less of a pain, and I reached my goals. So I guess it depends how you're looking at your three circles here. Okay,
That's
so
true. Yeah, absolutely. And this is not this is a very common fear for that, what you just mentioned of posting, just because it's something unfamiliar. You know, we've gone through so many years. We have businesses who have been there so many years without having to do social media, and suddenly they have to do it now. And what will others think of you? Will they think it's professional or not? Is your content good enough to be shared? And these are, and I'm doing this not only because this is what I think my audiences think, what they feel. We also have a step after this, which is called our market research, wherein we really ask them what are their fears, pains, and goals. And the more you do this, the more you get to know your audience, and that audience that you speak with represents a bigger audience out there, right? If you speak with 5 people and they say, I spoke with a few people and they say that definitely posting is one of the things that they do not, they're not doing because they're scared of getting judged. And so I know that hundreds of people out there have the same fear. That's why I'm going to continually tackle that on my content, on my social media. All right. I think we have some questions. I just cannot see it.
Oh, let me see if I can help you there.
Oh yeah,
Actually,
I see.
So, oh, you got it? Okay,
Yeah, I got it. Yeah. What do you think? How the video blogs are supporting the audiences, or people follow written content to access what we do? So, all right, we have, if I understand it right, like we do have a lot of different formats, right? we have videos, we have photos. Basically, these two are the main things. They're very visual. Most of the platforms, they give us an opportunity to have these visual materials, the photo and the video, follow up by text. So mostly when it comes to photos, you cannot, if it's just the photo, you may not be able to give so much there on the photo, but you have the opportunity to expand that on the copy. When it comes to videos, it's another thing because people are naturally research based. We are more entertained by videos when we see some visuals. So that is a great way of grabbing the attention of your audiences, and you now have their attention, and you can give them whatever value they want to give them. Let's say educational content. You give them 3 things that they should know, 3 things that they commonly, 3 common mistakes of these people, something like that. I hope that answered your question. I'm gonna move on. I'm gonna answer more questions later on after this. Okay, knowing your audience's fears, pains, and goals. I just want you to remember this every time you make content. It makes your content relatable, right? Because you're speaking directly to their feelings that usually motivates people to buy or to trust someone. Because if you just look at it, if you compare it, I always want to see this and compare it to normal in-person interaction. When you meet someone for the first time, like when you go to a party, for example, or a networking event, for example, and you meet someone, you do not just talk endlessly, right? Like to build a relationship, you want to listen to what the other person is saying and you want to relate to that, then you can start bonding. And that's just how it is. It's the same with social media. It's just a virtual networking space. So when someone meets your brand for the first time, when they see your brand for the first time, when they feel like you are talking about things that they feel, then they will immediately build the connection, right? So when they land on your LinkedIn, for example, or your Instagram for brands that are more visual, or Facebook, these are the things I want them to say. Yes, I'm struggling with this. Wow, this brand knows what I'm feeling. That's exactly how I feel. Or when you talk about their goal, for example, you want them to say, yes, that's my goal. I want to get there. If this brand can help me get there, why not? All right. Yeah, just a few examples of how I use fears, pains, and goals. Very important because these 3 things, once you identify these 3 categories and the things under each category, you'll have an evergreen, endless supply of content topics. You won't have to sit and think, what am I going to post in the next week, right? This is a problem that a lot of us, many of us are facing. For example, here are some fears that I've identified under different types of businesses. If you are, let's say, a profitability coach, one of the fears of your audience might be they don't want to fail. They don't want to fail in their business. They are struggling these days because there's just not enough sales and they're scared of failing or going bankrupt, basically. So from that, I can build a topic like this. 3 ways or how to increase your cash flow. So this is speaking directly to their fear. Another one is, I think there are companies, right, that help us with, I think, management consulting companies or tax and accounting companies. One of the fears of your clients or potential clients, ideal customers, are they don't want to get fined by not complying with the government rules for tax. They have tax violations. You can draw a topic from that, which can be 3 common tax mistakes that businesses do, so that when your potential audience comes across this content, they'll be like, yeah, I don't want to make these mistakes, so I'm gonna read it, right? For let's say fitness instructors or fitness coaches, nutritionists, your audiences do not want to stay unfit. I'm just citing some very, very clear examples, and then you can adapt this to your business, because I'm gonna tell you that every business, their audiences will have fears, pains, and goals. So there's no exception. 3 practical weight loss methods, or maybe your audience is scared of spending on social media. In my case, this is it. Social media for not getting results. And this is my topic. I'm drawing from that. If they're unsure whether to invest in social media marketing or not, I'll give them an education on which areas they should pay attention to. which I'm doing right now. Okay, this is one of the fear post example that I've published on mine, which is, why would you spend on social media if you don't clearly know how it will bring return of investment, right? So this is me speaking to my target audience. When a business owner, for example, comes across my page and sees this, that person will be like, yeah, like, why would I spend if I don't know where it will go? So after that, I give them an educational bit here down below. And so, yeah, it is the same thing for pain. So the difference, by the way, between fear and pain is, fear is something that they do not want to happen. They're scared of happening. So you want to help them there so that that doesn't happen, like going bankrupt or staying unfit or losing money in an investment. Pain, on the other hand, is what they're currently experiencing, what's keeping them up at night. For example, they're already doing it, but they're struggling with it. It's a pain point. For example, you've been putting effort in your social media, but you're not seeing results. That is a pain. So investing more on this, on X, but you didn't see return of investment. That is a pain. Doing X, but it's too time consuming. That is a pain. So you are doing it and you are struggling with it. And based on these things, you can draw topic samples. And I'm going to show you later how I put it in an Excel sheet so that it doesn't get confusing. So this is one of the pain post example that I have. It's very frustrating putting so much effort and not getting returns from it. After this headline of pain, I give them the value of how I can get them, how I can help them a step away from that pain and a step closer to their goals. So fears, pains, and goals. Moving on, you would want to identify the goals of your target audiences, goals that you want your potential clients or your potential customers to achieve. Where do they want to go? What's the destination that they want? So this can be technical or technical or emotional. So for example, this is a goal, doing more of the creative part of the business. This is actually an answer that I got from one of the people I interviewed for a market research. I asked her, what is your goal? She said, I want to have my social media up and running, doing the job for me, but I don't want to spend my whole day. I want to do most of the creative part, which is, in her case, designing this interior design. Right? So another goal is that increase top line. If you're, again, my example earlier was profitability coach, your audiences or your ideal clients will want to increase their top line, get more money in the biz. And then the third one is for nutritionists or physical instructor, fitness instructor, feeling confident with their body. That is their goal. And these are the things that will motivate people to buy from you when they know that you can help them with this. If you're a business, obviously we're in the business to serve people and yeah, so that's what they will pay for. So if that service or offer can get them to that goal, then say it on your social media, because then they will know that, okay, this is what this business is going to help me with. Let's say a business setup company. So you're here, someone wants to set up a business. If you don't say that this is what you help them with, they basically won't know right away. So it's just easier to communicate these things. Their goal is to have a very smooth business setup process, for example. And so you can draw a topic from that. Questions, just drop them in the Q&A box. If I'm going too fast, everyone, please tell me. I have a question, I think. Okay, I'm gonna proceed. I'm gonna answer all of it, but I'm gonna proceed because I'm more than halfway through. A post example for goal is how to use Instagram efficiently and have more time for your business. So if you see right here, when I asked that person during my market research, what is your goal? What is one of your goals? And she said, more time for my business. So I use that information and use it as a content topic, how to use Instagram efficiently and have more time for your business. This way, my potential clients arriving on my Instagram profile, they will know that this is something that I help them with. Okay, so using the fears, pains, and goals method, you are making sure that every post is intentionally serving the needs of your audiences. Because again, it's about them, not you. When you write the post based on what you know they feel and experience, trust is built easier and faster. And these three things are strong motivators that push people to buy from you. I'm gonna cite a few things that I see a lot of brands are making. That's why they're not seeing results. Like common mistakes is that one, they are always selling. They are just always selling, right? This is a funny analogy, but you know, people compare it in the marketing world, in the digital space. We always look at it as dating, that when you first meet the person, or yeah, when you first meet the person, you don't immediately say we are compatible, let's go get married. This is not how you do it, right? Like you relate first, and you talk about your feelings first, and you build the trust first before proposing. So if you're selling right away in first instance, they'll be like, okay, I don't know how this will serve me. And that is usually what happens. Steve said, just a comment, the fears, pains, and goals is extremely powerful and has transformed the response rate I'm getting in communication with prospects. That is amazing. And I'm telling you, it is not for specific businesses, for everybody. It's for each and every business, every personal brand. Your audience will always have these three things. All right. Okay. Okay. So what was the first one? First one was, so focusing on the right things. I gave 4 things. First one is having a clear description in your bio. Second one is having clear messages, which we usually identify through identifying the fears, pains, and goals of our audiences. And number 3 is consistency in showing up. Again, it's very saturated. You don't want to be forgotten, but you want to make sure that you are showing up. Statistically, it says that it takes 5 to 12 encounters before someone listens to you. So usually people have to see you between 5 to 12 times before they consider buying from you. So you have to be showing up consistently, because this will strengthen your brand recall strategy, and you will stay on top of mind for your audiences. And people always think like it's very time consuming. It is not possible to just show up every day. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be when you have a process in place. It doesn't have to be. And this is the usual process that I do with my clients, and I teach the 4-step content creation process. So basically, I do not sit down and create my whole month. Sometimes there's just not enough idea in your head to cover the whole month. You just gotta find what works for you. Sometimes you can make, and I'm telling you these things that are also done by social media managers and marketeers, that usually people outsource to these people. This is the process. So 4-step content creation process is, firstly, you brainstorm. This is the time. It can be a one-off thing that you will revisit every 3 months. You sit down, you identify who your audiences are. And I know you might say, I know who my audiences are. No, sit down and identify they are, because there are always things that you will find out. Especially when you do market research, you'll find out more about them. This is your way of creating sharper content. So sit down, identify who your audiences are, identify their fears, pains, and goals, right? And then you add that with your brand story. So those are your content pillars, meaning those are the things that you will continually talk about in your social media. You don't always have to come up with a new topic. You will stay on the same topics, but obviously being creative in the way you present them. All right. So when you have your fears, pains, and goals, those are the things that you can use for your content. Second, when you have those 3, when you know who you're talking to, when you have your brand story, second one is to plot these in your content calendar. No fancy stuff. It can just be an Excel sheet. Look at a calendar and see what you're going to be posting when. So that's when you plot the topics in, you schedule the topics, and you write the caption. And now that you know what you're going to be talking about, you have the create part wherein you will decide, am I going to use a photo for this? Am I going to use a video for this? Am I going to need a new photo shoot for this? Obviously, at this time, we can't do that. You have to recycle posts. And when you have that, now you have your calendar, you have the topics, you have the copy, you have the photo or video. Then you can schedule for auto-publishing. Meaning, if you want to be posting every day, I no longer recommend posting every day these days, because I found that it can get very overwhelming and can have an overload of content on your social media. Um, we'll talk about that another time, but you can still get the same engagement rate and even increase that engagement rate, even if you're not posting every day. For me, I post 3 to 4 times a week, every other day. Sometimes 2 days in between before I post another, and it still does the magic for me. With the right content, your content will work for you. So scheduling for auto publishing, you just sit down and plot your topics, and you let it get published throughout the week. So that's why I'm telling you that it doesn't have to always be so time consuming. You can sit down every weekend or start of the week and spend 2 to 3 hours in doing this, and you're covered for the whole week, or two if you're having an overload of topics. Right. So what you can see here is real time my content calendar for my brand. And this is what I do. You can see how I have here in the first part, this is my ideal client deep dive. These are the things that I believe my ideal clients want. And so I'm going to publish about them. First part, what is he or she afraid of? Meaning their fears. Second part, what are his or her pains that she or he is experiencing right now? So I got all that here. What are her or his goals? Like I have all of them here. Oops. I have all of that here. And as I go along, I'm just going to be having this here on my April calendar, on my May calendar. I still have the same fears, pains, and goals. Obviously, I'm not going to present it the same way, but I'm going to try to be creative in using this. And if you can see, I'm posting every other day. This was my March calendar. I'm posting every other day, and I grab one pain here and I drop it down to this day. 2 days after, I grab a pain and I drop it. So fears, pains, and then 2 days after, goal. And then I do that alternately. And so whatever stays on top of my feed, when an ideal client comes, he or she will always see one fear, one pain, and one goal. So psychologically, that is meant to build the trust among my audiences.
Yeah.
So,
excuse me, can I just ask one quick question?
yes, sure.
On your calendar of Wednesday the 18th, let's say, right? You've got the fear, scared of running out of money. So you can see your check mark is over there on the other side. Your conversation is that you're having the conversation. I can see Eve. What do you mean? What do you mean by conversation? What do you mean by conversation? And what do you mean by CTA? Just out of curiosity.
Awesome. Yes. Awesome questions. Yeah, this is very important. I wanted to tackle all of this, but I didn't want to overload. But yeah, awesome question. You brought that up. So now here is scared of running out of money. This is my ideal client deep dive because, as you know, I help business owners create new streams of revenue. Especially the coaches. So this is one of their fears. And the solution to this is that, we can either build a program, we can build a seminar. That is my headline. Now on the second cell here, if you see, I have conversational, inspirational, connection or trust, conversational, again, educational. These things identify my approach. So my headline, my approach. So if I want the content to be a little bit just, light and conversational, I would say, scared of running out of money. I feel you. I totally understand what you mean. So it's kind of making a conversation with them. If I say inspirational, if you see here, pain, income is not stable, and inspirational is imagine. Where did I do here? Inspirational. So inspirational is obviously meant to inspire them. My content here is imagine not having to worry about your income or your business profit next month. Imagine this and that. So I'm drawing a picture of their goal, I'm drawing a picture of their goal that can be a solution to their pain. So I have here the fears, pains, and goals, and then the approach. If it's conversational, inspirational, sometimes it's very educational, where I just say, these are the 3 things that you have to know. Bum, bum. So approach, and then CTA is call to action. You would always want to have a call to action in every post, whether that's comment below, share this post, send me a message, sign up for an email list. So that is call to action. Sometimes I have heavy call to action, like register for the free event. I have light sometimes where it's like comment below. And then here, the last cell is just basically the copy, the entire copy that I'm trying to build based on these things on top. Did that answer your question?
Perfect. Okay, go ahead. Sorry
Okay.
about that.
No worries. No, that was very helpful. I think I have a comment here. Yeah, Excel sheet. Yes, I will definitely share all of these to Diana, and she will send you all the freebies. And yeah. And how often do you think?
Thank you.
Welcome. How often do you think we should upgrade our websites to get more attention from the audiences? Do you think it is essential from SEO perspective? So I'm not an SEO expert, but I know that a lot of businesses have had success in working with SEO experts and getting found. People who should, I think everybody should be doing SEO, but it does not sit on the top priority list. It depends on your business. For example, you're a business, you're a local business, local service business. Basically, SEO is very important because people looking for the service that you provide might not go to Instagram. Most likely when it's a service and it's local, they go to Google. So when you have SEO going, and they can find you in Google, then that then drives traffic to your website. How often do I think you should upgrade your website? I think it really depends. If you're always having new products or services that you're adding up, obviously you would want to regularly update your website. So ideally, I am not sure if quarterly is too often or not, but what's just more important or most important is that all your new products and services are in your website. You have a copy that is in line with where your business is at the moment. And I lost the comment. Yeah, so that's it. I think it depends on your business, but just make sure that your copy and your products and services are always updated. And yeah, by no means I'm not by no means an SEO expert, but I believe regularly, every 2 months, every 3 months. And it's always better when done with an expert because it's too technical. Like SEO is just too technical. You have certain keywords and you have to see which keywords are performing and you have to be changing that. All right. I hope that answers your question. Websites is great connection with social media. Absolutely. There are businesses that convert people or get sales on social media itself. There are businesses who get people from social media and drive them to the website. And then that's where the conversion happens, because on your website, you can do everything, have a video, have a photo, have a lead generation form, have a freebie. So your website is like, social media is like driving people and website is converting people. That makes sense. What is the importance of referrals and testimonials? Not mentioned at all in our presentation. Yeah, that is not part of this one, but if you're asking how important, super important. Like a lot of people are buying from Amazon just because they see good reviews. It's basically a proof. It's a social proof. It's a social proof. A lot of times people are scared to buy, people are scared to invest because they don't know if it will work or not. And a lot of times we as consumers, we need permission. And that testimonial or that review from the other person who have tried your business or your service or your product is our permission. You know, when you are, let's say, going around the mall, carrying that piece of shirt that you really want to buy, but you don't need, and you just go around, and until your partner says, you know what, just buy the freaking thing, then you you will buy it. So we need permission, and that is a social proof that you need permission through testimonials and reviews. I hope that answered. I did not give a good analogy, but I hope that you get the message.
No, you're absolutely right, Mae. I think
Yeah.
you're absolutely right. Actually, I was just wondering, I mean, I really find this absolutely fascinating, and I think that we really ought to think about having a sequel to this, about actually having a course.
Yeah.
Let's you and I sit down on this, because I find that even especially in a smallish group, let's say around 20 or so, or 10 or
Mm.
20, it would be absolutely wonderful because each one can be a sounding board for the other person. So let us go ahead. If people wouldn't mind holding their answers to the very end, we would appreciate it because we're getting closer and closer to our closing time.
Yeah,
But
okay.
go ahead. Go ahead.
So I think I'm gonna answer the questions after this because I think I'm on my last 2-3 slides.
Okay,
Okay,
go ahead.
that's the content calendar. I'm gonna wrap up here. This is a sample of my scheduled content. So I look at my calendar like this, and if I plan for the first week, then I'm gonna put 2 posts here. And if you see auto publish, it means that I don't have to be on my phone for this post to be published. If I say get it published on 12:13 p.m., it will get published. Right. So I have a few recommended tools that are very easy to use. And I have them on my Instagram. Let's connect there. I have a lot of daily tips over there. And then, yeah, so I'm saying it doesn't have to be so hectic and stressful. And number 4, the last one is engagement. Engagement basically means when you don't have that engaged audience yet, you go out there and find them and get them. Let them know you exist. And what I usually do, especially when I was starting, and I'm still growing my account. It's a very new account. I time myself for 30 minutes a day. I literally put the timer on. The first 10 minutes, I will engage with the current audiences that I have, meaning I'll like their posts, I'll comment on their posts, I'll send a reaction to their story and respond to their IG stories or LinkedIn posts. And then the rest of the time, my 20 minutes, it goes to using hashtags, for example, and then looking for people who are similar to my target audiences. And there are strategies for this as well. And I've actually given this on my Instagram. So let's go over there. Uh, it will help you with the algorithm. So it can be 15, 20, 25 minutes a day, but you have to do the interaction because this is technically what tells the platform, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, that you are alive, that your account is alive. It's not a bot, it's not dead, it's not just there for the sake of it. Their interactions, that's your fuel. Right. So a quick recap. Things that you should be paying attention to. Number 1, having a clear description. Number 2, having the right content and messages, reinforced by fears, pains, and goals. Number 3 is staying consistent. Use the calendar, use auto publishing. Number 4, engagement. Do this every single day. You will see the difference. Those are the things that you should pay attention to. Don't spend thousands and thousands yet if you don't have your strategy nailed down. I think I'm talking too fast, but okay. Last one is these days, it can be hard to show up. It's definitely not normal in the social space. What you can do as a brand to elevate your brand presence even during the corona crisis, the outbreak, is double down on your educational content. This builds authority and credibility, meaning teach people something. What other people would want to sell, give it for free. Don't be scared of giving value out because that is what will grow your authority, credibility, and trust. Show face. Let's say the CEO or the founder. It doesn't have to be a video. You can just show a photo just to let people know that more than a brand, you're a human. Third one is show behind the scenes. If you have something launching after this outbreak, let's say second, third quarter, what's happening? Are you doing the groundwork? Take a photo, take snapshots, and use that behind the scenes. Fourth one is showcase your values and your vision. It builds know and trust. Know and trust are the things that build a relationship. So talk to them about, you can tell them, since this is a time that, I've been saying, a lot of times, but more time at home can be more time for educational content. So this time we want to talk about this, and this. So you can use introductory phrases, but basically educational content, face, behind the scenes, and your values and vision can help you elevate that brand content without being in any way offensive or out of context with what's happening nowadays. Yeah, so that's it. We are touching the surface. There's a lot to know, and you don't have to overwhelm yourself because it's a process, definitely a process. I give a lot of daily tips and tactics on my Instagram. So if you're not connected, feel free to approach me there. I'm happy to give you to answer your questions. And also, thank you, Diana, for having me. Just very quick, I'm opening my wait list for a program that I call Scale on Socials. is basically made for business owners, taking you step by step from 1 to 10. Because a lot of business owners, they delegate the task to others, but they feel frustrated and disappointed that nothing's happening because they don't know which things to pay attention to or how to measure or analyze the metrics of what the outsourced person is doing for them. So this is basically education on social media for business owners. If you want to know more about it, just connect with me on Instagram. I'm happy to give you the details. Okay,
Fantastic.
I'm gonna wrap up. I'm running in heels. No, I'm sitting facing my computer actually. I'm gonna answer questions. Okay, which question? I think I've answered this already. Dismiss. What is auto-publish? Please explain. No, you don't have to be sorry for asking. Auto-publish is basically you're signing up with a software and you schedule all your posts so that it will come out on time. And you don't have to manually click publish on your Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook for it to be published, for your content to be published. So I have a lot of recommendations on my profile on that. Like you set a timer for that. Yes, you schedule it. Let's say I want it to be published April 8th, 2 p.m. Then you just set it there, and April 8th, 2 p.m., even if you're, somewhere doing something else, it will get published for you. So it's a very good time management, productivity tool. Yeah, what is the importance of referrals? I think I answered this. And this content calendar process is very helpful. I'm a big fan. Thank you, Steve. Thank you for the support. Okay, I'm going to give it back to Diana. I'm going to help you guys.
Fantastic. You did it, girl. I'm so proud of you.
Awesome.
Yes. Again, once you actually happen to see, or when, like I said, I think we really might want to get together, because this is a time where one can increase one's creativity, and we can work together with the Canadian Business Council, and maybe together we can probably do a little workshop. Everybody get their feet wet on this, because it is quite important. I mean, I don't want quite as such an understatement. The steps that I'm sure everybody in their minds were actually imagining, oh yes, if I use the pain, oh yes, if I use fear, yes, if I use goal. You could imagine it just even on our Canadian Business Instagram accounts as well. So thank you very, very much. We will be putting this out to the people that have registered, and hopefully eventually put it on a YouTube channel. We will work ahead, obviously, for everyone, because we're trying to do our best to help the community, and this is our way of giving back. So that's why we've created these free events. We might be able to have, maybe if you could be so kind, Mae, and give us a particularly interesting price range where we could get a close little group clapping together. That would be lovely. And we'll talk about that in the future. So thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Reach out to us. We're here. Okay.
For sure. And anybody who has more questions, again, I'm most active in Instagram. And I'm connected in CBC's Instagram. So let's connect there, and I'm happy to help out. Yeah.
Yes, of course. Everyone. We'll make sure you get okay. Ciao. Have a really good day. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.